Welcome to Presidential Libraries, Museums, and More. I'm your host, Patrick Clark. We begin today with a trip out east to the western side of New York State and a man with no middle name. Let's go to the home and final resting place of our 13th U.S. President, Millard Fillmore.
On the western side of the Empire State sits a home constructed by a former president.
We actually call this the honeymoon cottage. Millard Fillmore actually hand-built this home and then lived in it. This would be prior to his presidency. Only 4 years, 1826 to 1830, and then he did move into Buffalo. But we're happy to have this house, and we preserved it so beautifully.
In East Aurora, New York, sits the charming home of Millard and Abigail Fillmore.
This is called Greek Revival. These columns are Doric columns. Split lathe construction is the actual construction of the house, post and beam. Pretty sturdy for a little house. It's been moved twice and survived a fire.
Stepping inside this home, you're transported back to the time it was built. No wallpaper adorns the walls, but plenty of stencils to give it a modern-day touch.
You can probably see the stenciling, possibly. This would be absolutely what would be on the walls in 1826. No wallpaper yet, but so stenciling is, it's very dramatic and actually almost makes the house cozy. Well, it's the home of our president. Let's give the president some respect. He's the 13th president of the United States. Happened to live here, as I said, for 4 years. This is the only home that's actually preserved.
Fillmore might have been ahead of his time with this standing law desk he once stood in front of while working.
And we have a little teapot here. It's called pink lusterware. It was actually in the White House. And yes, they drink tea. They were teetotalers.
And when he sat down in his kitchen, it was at this kitchen table he built.
Oh, labor wasn't uncommon to him. I mean, he could chop wood, and, but he was self-taught. He loved being a learned man. Sure, he built this house, no problem. He also built his law office that was also here in East Aurora. He was our first country lawyer. Now this table that's right here, this top is called a scrub top table, and that was actually put on by Millard Fillmore. So it's just two large pieces of wood that are seamed together, two big planks of wood.
From law books he would use to a teapot that was once used inside the White House, you can get a sense of what life might have been like for the young lawyer.
He loved books. His favorite book at school was a geography book, Morse's geography book, Jedediah Morse. He said, yeah, I opened that book and there was other worlds, a map. It really enlightened his whole world, instead of just around the log cabin where he was born.
Millard Fillmore had several huge accomplishments before he became president. He was a member of the House of Representatives, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, and comptroller of New York, just to name a few. As the nation's 12th vice president, Fillmore was never elected president by the people. Instead, he stepped into the role.
He was vice president, becomes president upon the death of Zachary Taylor, who happened to die not of poison, everyone, but of cholera, just so that's out there. Yeah, so that brings Millard Fillmore into the White House. And actually, we have Millard Fillmore to thank for holding off the Civil War for 10 years because of that bill, the Compromise of 1850. During that decade, the North did become stronger, more industrialized, and more equipped for the war effort.
The Compromise of 1850 diffused political confrontation between slaves and free states. Personally, Fillmore said he was opposed to slavery, but he voted in favor of the compromise, which included the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. It required all escaped slaves upon capture to be returned to their enslavers. Millard Fillmore served as president from July 10, 1850 until March 3, 1853. His presidency would be short-lived, losing the support of his own party. His time in office was just a little bit shorter than the time he spent inside this home with his wife Abigail. However, they both made a huge impact on the information that future presidents could pull from the past.
We call it a presidential site now. We've just kind of elevated it a little bit, but that's the feeling we want you to have. Things, you can touch things, you can't break things, but it is a living museum.
While his White House years might not add up to an impressive time spent in Washington, the post-presidency of Millard Fillmore found the 13th president back in Buffalo. At the Buffalo History Museum, you can catch sight of Millard's means of transportation after leaving the White House, this one-horse-powered buggy.
This is a horse-drawn carriage called a brougham, and this would be the largest carriage that could be pulled by one single horse.
A unique man from Western New York with a unique name.
Well, his name a little bit unusual. Maybe you don't even know a Millard in your life, but Millard was named after, he's the firstborn son of the family, and the mother's maiden name was Millard. Her name is Phoebe Millard, and she will marry Nathaniel Fillmore, of course. So there we have Millard Fillmore. No middle initial, no middle name, just our dear Millard Fillmore.
After the death of Millard's first wife, Abigail, he would lend his name and support to founding the Buffalo Club.
That was the first portrait ever painted of a member of the Buffalo Club, and after that it became a little bit of a tradition that if you're a president of the club, you would get your portrait painted.
That's his signature as a founding member, right above William Fargo. That man, along with Henry Wells, would form their business, Wells Fargo. But it's Fillmore's name that adorns schools and streets and medical buildings in the Queen City. Another note on Millard Fillmore's resume, he founded and became the first chancellor of the University of Buffalo. However, his name was recently removed from locations at the university, a decision that aligns with the university's commitment to fight systematic racism and create a welcoming environment for all.
I think Millard gets a raw deal. No other president did anything to avert the war. And he definitely was opposed to slavery. He just thought it was a necessary evil. Those are his words. It's a necessary evil. He wanted to keep the country together as one union, and he wanted to follow, he was bound to follow the law of the land, that'd be the Constitution of the United States. And slavery, people, is in the Constitution, but when Millard is the president, it is not an amendment till after the war. 1865, the 13th Amendment finally is passed, abolishing slavery, but the 13th President of the United States is alive to see that happen, and I'm sure he was pleased.
Millard Fillmore, our nation's 13th president. His final resting place is located inside Forest Lawn Cemetery. If you go, you'll find a marker with the Fillmore name, along with his first wife Abigail and second wife Caroline, their final resting place on a hill not far from the city they called home.
Next on Presidential Libraries, Museums, and More.
All right, let's just take a two-shot here for a moment.
For 52 years, White House correspondent Sam Donaldson asked the tough questions of presidents. Now Donaldson finds himself on the other side of the microphone. We ask him a few tough questions about his tenure in television and his most memorable moments. Plus, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor makes a trip to the Show Me State, the message she brought St. Louisans about the importance of having mentors and the power of saying, I don't know, when it applies.